Hello everyone. Today I created some inspirational content for you regarding how to evolve away from the unsympathetic relative. And perhaps in your life it's not a relative, maybe it's a neighbor, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's even a stranger that you've never met before, and you have an interaction with them and it seems careless, cold, and so forth. Years ago, I saw a talk show in which the hostess asked a young girl to come back from the backstage area behind the curtain. And when she did, she was a beautiful young lady. You could tell she had a full life ahead of her. She was in modeling, and she was just as graceful as could be, walking across that stage, showing no fear. But you would never believe the history of this poor girl. The hostess went on to explain how this young girl was treated by her family, her entire upbringing. She was the outcast. She was ignored. Wouldn't say she was necessarily neglected, but she definitely wasn't the most popular, and she definitely wasn't the favored child in this family. Because of the way she was treated by those raising her whole upbringing, she developed a deep insecurity about herself. Her self-image suffered. Her confidence suffered. But that day she walked out on that talk show stage, no one would have ever guessed what had happened to her in her past. By becoming a model, her confidence grew over time. And this wasn't confidence that she got from any of her family members. Oh no, this is confidence that she earned through understanding how her family interacted with her and why they were so unsympathetic. Let me just give you an example of what I mean by when I say unsympathetic family member. Let's just use an example that affects a lot of people today. Say you were raising children and you do not work outside of the home, and you have a spouse that works at a job. Your spouse gets injured and is taken out of the workplace and is on bed rest for, say, 6 to 8 weeks. During this time, your family is losing income, and you're also losing the help from your spouse because you're taking care of your spouse, you're taking care of your other family members, maybe children, maybe somebody aging, and you have all these responsibilities. Wouldn't it be nice if somebody brought you a casserole? How nice would that be so that you didn't have to cook a dinner one night? You know, years ago, I remember people doing that for each other. Nowadays, not so much. However, let's take it a further step. So you have a family member that's down and out. You're struggling. You're struggling to keep the house afloat and everything that goes with it. Your children get sick, and then you get sick, and it's, say, the flu. Y'all have the flu. So now your spouse is down and out, your children are sick, and now you have the flu, and you were the primary caretaker. This is an average story out of practically every household. Now, take the relative that maybe you reached out to, or maybe they called you up because they heard some gossip or they saw something on Facebook and they wanted to reach out to you. But you can't even figure out why they bothered to reach out, because all they said was, oh, I heard a rumor that you're all sick or something. They didn't even offer to bring over some soup. All they said was, yeah, so I just thought I'd call and see if it's true, or just thought I'd call and, are you okay? And you say, well, actually, no, none of us are okay. My spouse is down and out. I have the kids to care for, they're sick, and I'm sick. You know, I haven't been able to take care of our laundry. I haven't been able to go to the post office and maybe mail some bills. I haven't been able to cook proper meals. I'm ordering from Instacart. It's costing us an arm and a leg. We don't have the money for this. I wish I had some help. And your relative does what? They don't say to you, I've been there, I've done that, I know exactly how that feels, and I'm going to help you out. I'm going to order you some groceries from whatever.com, and I'm going to have them delivered right to your door. That way you don't have to worry about it. Or wouldn't it be nice if they said, I got a Domino's coupon coming your way, or something to that effect. Something to let you know that they care about you, that they hear you, that they validate you, that they acknowledge you, and they want you to feel comfort during this time when you're down and out and everybody is in need. But that doesn't happen all the time. Instead, what you actually hear is, oh, so it is true. Okay. All right. Well, I don't want to keep you. Bye. And they hang up. Or they show up at your door and knock on your door. They took the time to drive over and knock on your door. But once you answer it, you know, you have to get up out of your bed. You're in your house coat. Your nose is sniffling. You got the tissues going. And you get to your door and they say, oh, somebody posts on Facebook that you're not well. Or, oh, I heard at the supermarket from the neighbor that you're not well. And you say, oh, I'm so glad you're here. You know, we got this going on and this going on. I could surely use some help. And they say, oh, okay, well, take care. I just stopped by to tell you, you know, I'm thinking of you. And they leave. They don't offer you any help. They don't lend a hand. They don't say, you know what, let me start a prayer group and get some ladies together and we can make some casseroles. They don't do that. And you feel like a sinking ship. You feel like, why doesn't anybody ever care? I'm down and out. Obviously, I have a family that's suffering from the flu or the colds or whatever it is. My spouse is down and out. They're hearing rumors about me in town, on Facebook, or where have you, but yet nobody's actually coming to bring me help. They're just coming to butt their nose in it for what? Why? So you recover, you get through your illness, your kids recover, they're back in school, your spouse recovers, he or she goes back to work. So now you have a situation where you're all recovered and you just decide to dive in and clean the house real good, disinfect, because now everybody's germs, you don't want them regurgitated into something else. So you're doing housework, and that same relative calls you up and says, did you hear? I got a back injury. Yeah, I was at the supermarket and I was loading groceries in my car and I pulled my back out. I've been stuck in this bed for a week and a half by now. And I still probably have 3 weeks of recovery. And of course, being the caring, concerned person you are, you probably would say, oh my goodness, I didn't know that. I'm so sorry to hear about it. And you may even offer to do something like send a gift certificate through their email, or order Domino's, or order takeout or Instacart or something to help them, or maybe even bring them a casserole or bake them cookies, because that's how a lot of us are. We are the caring type. We are the sympathetic type. We do want to help somebody in need. But the unsympathetic relative would be laid up in bed, and guess what? The next thing you know, they have everybody coming to their house. You show up with your baked pie. You show up there and you think, okay, well, I don't know if she's going to be able to answer the door because she's laid up in bed. But you don't know what to do because you baked her a pie. Her favorite pie. Not just any pie, her favorite pie. So you knock on that door and there she is, out of bed, miraculously. And you're like, oh, hey. And you see on the table in the background, they have flowers on the table. There's all kinds of casseroles. There's some banana breads. There's a fruit bowl. There's all kinds of goodies, even a candy basket. And you're looking and you're like, you're thinking to yourself, where did all this stuff come from? And your relative says, oh, look what all these people brought me. Yep, I got this. And you're looking through that doorway thinking, wow, my husband or my wife was laid up. I was sick. My kids were sick. Our whole house was sick. And not one person did anything for us. Yet this person who came to my house or called did nothing, but yeah, look at what they've got. Look at all the stuff they've got. So let me tell you folks, this is how it is. The unsympathetic relative, neighbor, stranger friend, what have you. They aren't a more popular person. They are not a better person. They're not better than you. So let's get that straight right now. You are not beneath this person. You do not fail at life, comparably to this person. This person may have gotten some flower arrangements and a quiche and an apple pie and a basket of Tootsie Rolls. But that does not mean that you are less of a person because you got nothing when your family was ailing and down and out. Okay? I know a few in my own life. I know a few people like this who everybody seems to go out of their way for, but they never do anything in return. The only thing they do is show up at your door or call you, almost like they can inconvenience you when you're down and out. They don't have anything to bring you out of care or concern or compassion. They don't have sympathy. It's shallow, it's fake, it's pretentious. They seem to receive a lot of gifts, a lot of sympathy, a lot of empathy, but they themselves don't have it. I went to a nature trail last night and then to the beach, and I put together a short little motivational video. And I encourage you to watch it. If you're struggling with somebody who is unsympathetic in your life, there is a way to free yourself from it. And the key to that is to stop pursuing that person, stop looking up to that person, stop talking to that person about your personal life, anything that's gone wrong, because they feed off of it. They feed off of whatever is going wrong in your life. But also, during your happy times, they're usually not around unless it involves something for them. Like, if somebody's getting married, they might go to the wedding because it involves free food. But if something else is going on, like you're having a happy occasion, they all of a sudden are too busy to show up. They always seem to be there when you're down and out, except they're not there to offer you help. Some people never learn this skill. Other people learn it quickly in life, and sometimes it takes a while to learn it. We don't want to think of our family members like this. We expect love and admiration and validation and support and acknowledgement. We expect our family members to be happy for us, to cry when we're sad, to hold our hand when we need a friend. But that's not always the case. And there's a lot of people out there that don't have family connections that do good by them. There are more people that have family members that do wrong by them. And if that's not a true statement, there wouldn't be as many talk shows as there are. So if you are somebody that has an unsympathetic relative, friend, neighbor in your life, I want you to know that it's not you. You need to let that person go. You can still love them from afar. Start living your life and stop pursuing their sympathy. Stop pursuing their support, their validation, their acknowledgement, any of the above. Just stop. And what will probably happen is that you'll see they don't come around anymore. Good or bad times, they're no longer there. I'm a new content creator. I've been at this for about 2 weeks now. I do videos about my yard. I do recipes. I do motivational videos. If you like the content, please subscribe to my channel. And I was thinking about the unsympathetic relative. It's late August and leaves are already falling off trees. It's kind of hard to believe that it's happening this early in the season. When you're surrounded by people who just don't care or who seem to not care about you, what you're going through, or your feelings, you start to think that it's you. Maybe you've done something wrong. Or perhaps how you're feeling isn't the right way to feel because for some reason you're not getting any sympathy or acknowledgement or validation from the folks that are supposed to care for you the most. These beautiful flowers here. So pretty. When our feelings aren't validated, when we aren't acknowledged, it can make us feel hurt. Take the honeysuckle vine, for example. Honeysuckle grows among weeds. It grows in clusters among wildflowers, among goldenrod. Honeysuckle grows on a thin vine. It doesn't choke out trees. It just wants to belong. It belongs in the wooded forest or on the side of the seashore. It belongs with all the beautiful wildflowers. A lot of people look at it as a weed. They don't think it brings any value to their gardens. But think about the sweet scent it offers. When I was a kid, I used to take the flower petals off of the honeysuckle, and you can actually suck on it and taste the sweetness. Yet people don't give it a second thought. People don't appreciate the honeysuckle vine. They spend years trying to cultivate flowers in their gardens that will bring a sweet scent to the air when the wind blows. But the honeysuckle vine is often cut down, torn out of the garden, just because a relative, or maybe more than one, doesn't seem to appreciate your beautiful attributes. Even though the honeysuckle vine brings the most scent without invading other plant species and pretty much staying to its own if you let it grow. On the other side of that argument is the wild grapevine. The wild grapevine is an invasive species that grows up trees, chokes them out, and while sure, you can cultivate grapes from the wild grapevine, why is it that some relatives can't nurture you? But they seem to nurture others. Families aren't competitions. One shouldn't have to compete with a family member to become appreciated or nurtured or validated. Just like the honeysuckle vine that complements all the shrubs and bushes around it, that grows and fits in well with its surroundings. You too deserve to be nurtured, validated, and acknowledged. We're each unique. We all have our own individual attributes, and none of us are less important than another. But sometimes in families, our needs, our lives get lost. And it seems like some people get all of the attention. How do you branch out? How do you grow away from the people that are supposed to love and protect you? How do you stand alone in the face of adversity? How do you know when it's time to break free of the cycle? How do you progress forward when everyone else seems to be leaving you behind? You let them leave you behind. You start your own path. You start your own life. You spread your wings and you fly. You fly and you soar. And you soar high above it. You leave the past behind and you seek out the new. Let them go. Let them do the things they enjoy doing without you. And start a new path forward. It's time to leave your footprint and start making new memories. When that unsympathetic relative comes along and doesn't seem to care about what you're going through, find it within yourself. Pick up the pieces. Foster a new beginning. Believe the sky is the limit. You can do anything without negative people in your life. Likewise, when you do have successes and wins, don't tell them. Let them find out. Let them be surprised. If they're not asking about you, if they're not asking how your day went, they are not somebody you need to share the details of your life with. Are they going to be there for you the next time you're down? Everything we learn in childhood continues to mold our future, our feelings, our thought process. When you have an unsympathetic relative, they've had experiences in their life that maybe you can't understand, that maybe you have not gone through. They've had experiences in their life that perhaps somebody else was unsympathetic to. You want to make sure you forgive the unsympathetic relative. You can love them from a distance, but you don't have to share your successes and joys, knowing full well the next time you do, they're just going to cut you down. Always be on the path moving forward. Always look ahead to your future. Don't worry about what somebody has said in the past. When you have an unsympathetic relative, their true nature shines through in the words they use against you. The oak tree stands tall. It stands tall and proud, even if it stands alone. Don't let unsympathetic people shape and mold your future. Don't be stuck on the runway of life. Be the guide of your own course forward. In life, we have options. Be like the oak tree. Stand tall and proud. Stand above them all. Don't let them make waves. Don't let them hurt your feelings. You're too beautiful. You're a beautiful person. You're unique. You're an individual. And next time they decide to invalidate you, to make you feel less than what you are, to make you feel less than who you are, simply let it roll off like a wave in the ocean. Just let it roll. And stand proud knowing that there are more people like you, brave and strong, than there are like the unsympathetic relative that just wants to tear everything down.